I'm Jeanette Johnson, and this is the year 1924. I would invite you in for a cup of good Gilbert water and a slice of my homemade bread, but I tell you, our house is in chaos. I do not know where you would sit down. I suppose you've heard we're moving. Yeah, I know. News travels fast in a small town like Gilbert. Well, would you believe my husband, Clint, has traded this fine home for a farm in Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota. He always was a man to jump into things with both feet, and now he's really done it. Well, there are a lot of things I could tell you about this house, but let me just start with the ground. This property, from the railroad tracks to the Congregational Church, was originally bought in 1881 by Edward Peyton Gilbert, EP for short. EP was the son of the famous Hezekiah Gilbert. You know, one of those landowners who donated 10 acres so that this town could exist. They wanted a station here. So EP and his wife Mathews acquired this land in 1891. I don't know if you have seen Clint in your travels through Gilbert. You know, Clint is the wiry guy that creates a cloud of dust wherever he goes. Well, he acquired this place in, let's see, 1917 it was when we came here. EP and Maddie built this fine place, lived here 10 years. The ground, the buildings changed hands a couple times before we bought it in 1917. We have loved it. It is perfect for our family. We have 9 children. Most of them, thankfully, are grown. I just can't imagine packing and moving with toddlers underfoot. So, oh yeah, Clint, in the 7 years that we have lived in Gilbert, he's been the blacksmith. He's run the livery. He breeds and sells horses. He has an auction house. He owns the building where the hardware store is, just down the block. Rents out the flat above it to teachers. What else? Oh, in his spare time, he's the town constable. And now that horse and buggy days are just about over, he's begun driving the standard oil truck out of Gilbert. That, and he hauls gravel. You know, our county roads are such a mucky mess. Well, he's got the job of dropping piles of gravel along the county roads so that they can be smoothed over. What a guy. I'll miss Gilbert, but you know, if we are isolated in the country in Minnesota, I might see more of him, and that would be such a blessing. Leaving this place, wow, I'll miss it. It's been a grand place to live. You know what I like about it? Is you can sit on the front porch and watch all the goings on in Gilbert. And I'll miss the old cow we keep out back too. Yeah, I'll even miss pulling a coaster wagon through town selling bottles of her milk. Yeah. And believe it or not, I will miss the train going by 20 times every day and night. Do you know, the sound of that train coming through routinely was just about the only thing that was predictable in this crazy household. So yeah, lots to miss. You know, the original drawings for this part of Gilbert called for Main Street to divide and run 2 streets parallel to the railroad tracks. Both of those streets were going to be called Railroad Avenue. So here it goes parallel for another block or 2 to the south. And businesses and homes were going to be built facing each other across these 2 streets in the railroad track. I know, it sounds like a nightmare, and it's obvious to me they did not have any women sitting in on the Planning and Zoning Commission. Yeah. Wisely, they scrapped that idea in 1893, and this has been a peaceful place, I mean, aside from the railroad. Okay. Well, you know, I will miss sitting on the wraparound porch that's around this building, the milk cow, of course, friends and family. Wow. This was, you know, like the grandest house in Gilbert, with this little castle-like turret, stained glass. Oh, yeah, to die for. I can't imagine that any other family will quite fill it up the way we did. I have met the couple that are moving in, but I don't know much about them. I wish I could see the future of this place. No, he had brought these things, these newfangled things home a couple of weeks ago. He called them binoculars. He said they were made for making things look close up. So maybe if I look through them, I can make the future look close up. Maybe I can see the future. You know, it's working. It is working. Yes, I can see people moving in and out. There are the Schnitzlers. And oh, it's the 1930s. And there's someone named Ken Bowers moving in. And oh, it must have been kind of a depressed era. He's having trouble keeping the taxes paid. This is kind of fun. See what else? I can see names. They keep changing on this mailbox. Yeah, there's Oliver and Mabel Lyle. Shearers. Alexanders. Dobbs. But you know the most interesting couple that I saw in the future were Jay and Vivian Buckman. Oh boy. They had 3 boys. At least 3 boys that I know of. There was Harvey, Ernest, and Red. They were ornery. In fact, they took the horse from out back. Well, this was just Red and his friend Jocko Mindeman. Okay, Red and Jocko, they took the horse, they hitched it up to the wagon, got the horse whipped up to go full speed down what used to be called South Road. They went full speed down the road and then somehow managed to unhitch the horse from the wagon so that they could take a wild and uncharted wagon ride down the ditch. Jay, not so happy. No, he thrashed Jocko Mindeman and Red right out here in public. Thrashed him, I tell you. Yeah. Well, I can't imagine this, but Jay and Vivian would herd those boys into a little travel trailer, lock up the house, and be gone for months at a time. Evidently, in the 40s, he got a job with the TVA. Now, he was a plumber. And he traveled to Tennessee, Missouri, Texas, doing work for the government. No wonder when Vivian got home, she called this Buckingham Palace, because it must have felt like a mansion compared to their little travel trailer. So, oh yeah, that was a family. I think I'll take one more look at them. Yep, there they are. Oh, what in the world? Jay, don't do that. I can't believe it. He is carving up the space in this house and making apartments out of it. Oh, I hate that. And what strange fixtures they're hauling in, but he says it's for the boys coming home from the war. But I tell you, we just fought the war to end all wars. I don't know, maybe these things aren't really made for hearing. I guess whatever. Anyway. anyway. Housing for the boys, it's not going to be the same. Nope, it's not. You know, I'm just going to put those things away and get back to packing, because Clint is going to wonder why the only thing in this box is a pair of binoculars. He may think I'm not wildly excited about going to Minnesota by my lack of progress here. So, if you all would just get going so I can get back to work. I know the ladies at the Congregational Church have a fancy spread for you. Oh yeah, their pastor, C.P. Davis, he's quite the pastor, and his church ladies, they are going to feed you just fine. And maybe later on, I'll walk over there too and get some refreshments, but for now, I've got work to do. So, see ya. Thanks for stopping by the Johnson place.